Okay, today we are continuing with our percentages. We worked on converting percentages and fractions. Then we worked on converting percentages and decimals. Now we are going to find a percentage using an equation. So that percent we've talked about is a ratio whose denominator is what? What's our famous number for percentages? 100. We need to remember 100 is the magic number. The symbol for percent we know. A percent equation. You can represent A is P percent of B. With the equation A equals P percent of B, where A is the part of the base and B is the percent. So remember, instead of saying A, I use P as the part equals the percent times the whole amount. So when they say A, I like to say P for part. When they say base, I like to say W for the whole. So the percent equation you can, I just talked about the percent equation. I kind of repeated what the percent equation is. Look at that, is that important? It's on the paper twice. Did you not get one? All right, come on up. Finding a part of a base. What number is 80% of 8,000? So we need to know, we know the of 8,000, that is our whole. We want to know the part. So we want to multiply the percent times the whole. So if we're looking for our part, we can fill in that percent as a decimal. 80% is the same as 0.80 times our whole of 8,000. This is where those calculators come in handy. 0.80, same value, same amount, times 8,000. I already have it on the paper for this one. It's 6,400. So it's that easy as just filling in those numbers, just like we did yesterday. We're just filling in our numbers. So let's look at our examples. What number is 20% of 110? What do I have to do? What equation should I write, Regan? For 8.
0.20.
That would be 20% as a decimal. So remember, our part, which is what we're looking for, that what number is the part. We know our percentage is 20%. What do we do with that percentage? We times it by the whole. What is our whole? 110. So 0.20 times 110. So now we need to solve for our part. We have 0.20 times 110. What is it, Josie? 22. So what number is 20% of 110? 22 is 20% of 110. It is much smaller than 110. 20% is under a half, it's under 50%, so we know it's going to be a lot smaller than half of 110, so that number makes sense. What number is 25% of 88? How do I solve that, Lily? 0.25, because 25% we want to convert to our decimal, times what? Times 88, because we know our part equals percent times the whole. So what is our part? What is 25% of 88, Lily? 22, again? Oh, look at that. 22 is 25% of 88. Does that make sense? Let's scroll our page up. So that was finding the part. Now we need to find a percent. We're going to use that same equation. The part equals the percent times the whole, and we're going to fill in the information they give us. We know by our title, finding a percent, we're going to be solving for our percent. But let's fill in what they give us. So what percent of 150 is 90? So we know 90 is the part. We're looking for the percent, and we know our whole is 150. So if I want to get my percent by itself, it's 90 equals the percent times 150. How do I get my percent by itself? Brielle? I have to divide out that 150. This is that algebra that we did the last unit. If we want to get that variable by itself, you have to divide. If we were multiplying, now we have to divide. So now my percent is by itself because 150 divided by 150 is 1. So we have our percent by itself. Now we need to say 90 divided by 150. Aiden? 0.6. Yeah, so if it's 0.6 and we want it as a percent, what is 0.6 as a percent? Will? 60%, because we move that decimal place 2 places over. So we get 60%. So now let's try it with our practice. 50 is what percent of 250? How do I set up my equation? Just in W, what would my equation look like? So if we do 50 times 250, remember our equation. Percent times the whole. Is 50 our percent? No, it says 50 is what percent? So I don't want to multiply those two together. Remember, I want to plug this information into our equation. 50 is what percent of 250? So 50 is my part. My part equals percent. I don't know my percent. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm just going to write that percent sign to represent my percent of 250. So why would I do 0.5?
Because that's it as a decimal, that's 50%.
But it's not 50%.
50, yeah.
50 as a decimal is 50.0. 50 is 50 is 50. If it was 50%, we would convert it, but it's not 50%. We're looking for our percentage. So we don't have to convert anything right now. We're going to convert it at our decimal to a percent at the end. So when we're looking for the percent, you convert it at the end. Okay. So 50 equals percent times 250. How do I get that percent by itself? Brielle? So just like we did over here when we divided that 150 out, we need to divide our 250 out to get the percent by itself. So 50 divided by 250, Zoe?
5.
Just 5? 50 divided by 250? Or did you do 250 divided by 50? You have to put 50, the numerator is the first number you put in. 50 divided by 250, Zoe, 0.2 equals our percent. Now we want it as a percentage. So this is where we do our converting, Peyton. So we have 0.2 becomes what percentage, Josie? Becomes 20%. Is that what you're going to say, Scarlett? Good job. Okay, so we're using the same equation. They're giving us different information. So we're finding different parts of our equation. So in this first one up top, we were looking for the part and we knew what was coming after it. Now we're finding the percentage, so we're solving it for that percent. So what do you think our third set is going to be about? Finding which part, which of the three pieces is left, finding that whole. Oh, I can't scroll up anymore, so I think we're at the bottom of our page. So we are going to do the same equation. We're going to look at what information they give us. The part equals the percent times the whole. This time they're saying the number is 117, or the number 117 is 45% of what number? So that 117 is our part. Equals percent. We know it's 45% of what whole? We're looking for that whole number. Of what number? That's the whole. 45%. Now we have a percentage, Peyton, so we need to convert percent to decimal. How do we convert that percent to a decimal?
You do 0.45.
Yeah.
And then.
So I'm going to rewrite my equation. So now if I want to get the whole by itself, how do I do that? How do I get my whole by itself? 117 equals 0.45 times W. How do I get that whole by itself? Zoe? Would that get the W by itself?
Oh.
Yeah.
You have to divide 45 by 45, and then you have to divide that, or 0.45, and then you have to do that.
I have to divide both sides by that 0.45. So that is 0.45 divided by 0.45 becomes a 1, so the W is by itself. 117 divided by 0.45 is 260. So my whole is 260. So now we have our example. 130 is 65% of what number? How do I set my equation up? How do I fill in those pieces? Peyton, want to give it a try?
No.
So think about what our part is. I'm going to walk you through this. Think about the part. 130 is 65% of what number? So what's the part?
The part is like 130.
130 equals what?
P.
The part equals percent times the whole. So do we know our percent? 65%. Of what number? Oh, the of what number is our whole. So that's what we're solving it for. That's our missing piece. We're solving it for the W, for our missing piece. So I can't really do anything with the percentage. What do I have to do with the percentage so I can work with it mathematically?
0.60.
I have to convert it to my decimal. So 130 equals 0.65 times W.
You have to divide 0.65 by itself.
I want to get my W by itself, so I divide 0.65 by 0.65. I divide my 130 by 0.65. Finish it up. You got the calculator?
No, I got it.
Oh, friends, we need to bring our calculators every day. It will help. So you don't have to do this longhand. Josie. 130 divided by 0.65 is 200. So that is my whole amount. So 117 is 45% of 200. Do we have questions on how to do this? The big thing we have to remember is our equation. And you need to fill in the pieces of information that we have, solve for the variable that we're looking for. So figuring out the information we have, where does it fit into our equation? Do we have any questions on how to do this? Okay, we have a lot of work time today. So I need us working on this and coming to me if we have questions on it. That's why we have this work time. Come see me if we're not sure how to plug the information in. When you finish, Khan Academy is due tonight. Math packet is due next Tuesday. If you turn in that math packet by tomorrow, I will get to correct it and hand it back to you. Will W, our assignment, is that what you're looking for? The assignment for today is, oh my goodness. Page 117, just 117. And we will say goodbye to anybody listening at home and hoping you are well.